Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and for today's problem we have used the given conditions to find the values of all six trigonometric functions, and we have secant of x given by -7/4, and there is a condition that tangent of x is less than 0 or tangent of x is negative. Okay, so all the six trigonometric functions we are finding are going to find sine of x, going to find cosine of x, going to find tangent of x, cosecant of x, secant of x, we already know it from the question, and the last one is cotangent of x. All right, now for this kind of problem you need to think about it from the viewpoint of right angle triangles and Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so we already know that secant of x, secant, which is the same as 1 divided by the cosine of x, is the formula hypotenuse over the adjacent. Okay, if that's the case, then this equates -7/4, but we have a negative in the front. We don't know whether the hypotenuse is the negative or the adjacent is the negative. You don't know at this point. All right, but one thing that we can do is we can ignore the negative and the fact that we know hypotenuse in the adjacent side and use that to find the opposite side, because this relates to a right angle triangle like this. So assuming our hypotenuse is 7, adjacent, let's say the angle is somewhere here, adjacent here is 4, so we can find the opposite side over here. From the Pythagorean theorem, this is just 7 squared, hypotenuse squared equals sum of the square of the other two sides, like that. So from here you can get a squared to be 7 squared minus 4 squared, which is 49, minus 16, which is 33. And so the side A is the square root of 33, and that is the opposite. Okay, all right, now we know that our opposite is square root of 33, our adjacent is 4, hypotenuse is 7, but we know something is negative. One amongst them is negative, so let's find that out. All right, so to do that, you're gonna investigate the condition from the question, the condition that the tangent of x is negative. That's the condition that we are given, but we know that tangent of x is the same as the opposite over the adjacent. All right, this is just a formula, but we also understand that it is negative from this condition. Okay, if that's the case, then let's compare this tangent of x to the secant of x. And by comparing, I mean compare the formulas. Secant is hypotenuse over the adjacent, right here. And tangent is opposite over the adjacent. Now look for the side that's common to both of them. Okay, the side that's common to secant of x and also common to tangent of x. obviously from hypotenuse over adjacent and opposite of adjacent, the common side between the two is the adjacent. It's the adjacent. So it means that it's the adjacent side that's causing the tangent of x to be negative and the secant of x also to be negative. Okay. So that tells us that our adjacent is not just 4 but negative 4. Okay. So now we have our new sides to be opposite square root of 33. Our adjacent is negative 4 and our hypotenuse to be 7. Now adjacent is not just negative 4 because it's a side, it's length. Okay, and we don't have any negative length, but the idea is that this triangle falls in a negative quadrant or in one of the negative quadrants. The right angle triangle that we drew right here does not fall in the positive quadrant. Okay, so that if you had to sketch it something like this, no, on this is the x-axis, this is y-axis, we can't sketch it on this side because this side both the adjacent here is positive and the opposite here is positive, hypotenuse is also positive, everything is positive, so the triangle doesn't lie in this particular quadrant. Okay, but rather falls somewhere like this, because on this part of the x-axis we have negative values, right? So adjacent maybe negative 4 like this. Opposite, so our angle is somewhere here for reference. Opposite is directly parallel to the y-axis, and that is positive, and we have opposite square root of 33, so that's positive, and the hypotenuse is 7, so it falls in a negative quadrant. That's why adjacent is negative 4. All right. Okay, now that we know the three sides, we can find all the other trig functions. Okay, so we have sine of x, cosine of x, tangent of x. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. This is the first three. So sine, that should give us opposite, which is root of 33 over hypotenuse is 7. So pretty easy. Cosine, adjacent is negative 4 over hypotenuse is 7. Tangent, opposite is root of 33 over adjacent negative 4. So negative 4 like that. Now let's see the other three. We already know from the question that secant of x is negative. Well, we know secant is the hypotenuse over the adjacent, right? All right. Hypotenuse is 7, adjacent is negative 4. This was already given in the question. The other one is cosecant. Cosecant is gonna be hypotenuse over the opposite, and that is hypotenuse 7 over the opposite square root of 33. You can simplify this a little bit by rationalizing, and that's by multiplying it by square root of 33 and then dividing by square root of 33, and that becomes square root of 33 times 7 over the denominator becomes square root of 33 squared, which is the same as 7 over 33 times square root of 33. or you can just leave it like that. And the last one is cotangent. Cotangent is the adjacent over opposite, and adjacent is -4 and opposite is root of 33, and this can also be equal to -4/33 times square root of 33. And now these are all the 6 trig functions that the question asks that you calculate. Okay, all right, so thanks for watching, and if you have any question, please keep it in the comment below. I would like to address them. If you have any question that you would like me to solve too, you can put it in the comment. Okay, I hope this helps, and then thank you for visiting the channel. Goodbye.